February 10th was the Chinese New Year in the lunar calendar. It's the most important holiday of the year for the Chinese people, and the vast majority of people who work away from home will rush back to their hometowns to celebrate the New Year with their family. The night of February 9th was New Year's Eve. For Chinese TV stations, it's the golden time of year, as it's when Chinese families get together to watch the Spring Gala. For the past 40 years, China's national TV station has been presenting a program on New Year's Eve called Spring Festival Gala, or Spring Gala for short. It used to be a must-see program for Chinese families, but now more and more Chinese people are choosing to skip it. Also, unexpectedly, the 2024 Spring Festival Gala omitted a segment where overseas Chinese greet their fellow Chinese. It's speculated to be related to a dispute between a British pianist and Chinese little pinks. People who are fervently patriotic or love the Communist Party are called little pinks. And apparently the pianist won this time. In this episode, we take a look at how Chinese attitudes towards the Spring Festival Gala have changed.
这里是中央广播电视总台2024年春节联欢晚会的直播现场。我们和全国各族人民、全世界的中华儿女相约守岁，喜迎甲辰龙年的到来。
According to Sina.com, as of 2400 on February 9th, 2024, the viewership of the Spring Festival Gala 2024 reached 30%, and the live viewership surged past 1.5 billion. It recorded a total of 52.1 billion interactions and reached a record high in overseas communications, with more than 649 million global views. These figures might be inflated, but it does show that the gala is a highly regarded event, staged by the power of a nation. Many people may not be aware that after taking power in 1949, the Chinese Communist Party, or CCP, has been systematically destroying and revamping traditional Chinese culture, so that the Chinese people under its control would no longer recognize their own culture and identity. The CCP created various holidays and festivals, including the Spring Festival. The Chinese New Year is the new beginning of the year according to the traditional lunar calendar, the Yellow Calendar. On September 27, 1949, when the CCP discussed how to build a government after seizing power, it officially changed the name of the first day of the Chinese New Year to Spring Festival, as it was just an ordinary holiday to celebrate the spring coming. For thousands of years, China has been a country that emphasizes tradition and reveres heaven and earth, ancestors, and divinity. In ancient times, after a good harvest and during the New Year, people would thank the gods for their blessings and pray for good weather in the coming year. All kinds of celebrations, rituals, and activities during the Chinese New Year revolve around this theme. New Year's Eve is the culmination of the New Year's celebrations, and it's a time for offering sacrifices to the gods and ancestors. For example, on New Year's Eve, a table called the Table of Heaven and Earth is set up and an image of a door god is put on the door for New Year's Eve, along with various images of gods of good fortune, wealth, nobility, joy, etc. They invite the stove god, post Spring Festival couplets, set up firecrackers, among other things. They are all related to the traditions of honoring the divine. Through these annual ceremonies, the Chinese people's belief in the divine passes from generation to generation. This is why the CCP, which believes in materialism and promotes atheism, changed the name of the Chinese New Year, a festival that had existed for thousands of years, to something as ordinary as Spring Festival. During the Cultural Revolution, the traditional New Year's greeting was changed to "May you be able to go to Beijing and meet Chairman Mao this year," or "The spirit of the revolution will be passed on from generation to generation." The blessings on the Chinese New Year couplets were changed to "Never forget the Communist Party, never forget Chairman Mao." The tradition of honoring the gods and ancestors has changed to remember the bitter days of the old society and remember the sweet life brought by the party. The New Year's paintings people put up have also changed from honoring the gods and praying for blessings to "the great leap forward and the people's commune is good." However, the custom of honoring the gods and ancestors during the Chinese New Year is still widely practiced in Hong Kong, Taiwan, and some Asian countries that are deeply influenced by Chinese culture, such as Vietnam. This is a project that has been systematically executed by the CCP. It destroys everything that reminds Chinese people of their traditional memories and moral conscience, right down to a noun or a term. According to official information, the Spring Festival Gala was first held in 1979 after the Cultural Revolution. It had little impact then because television wasn't common at the time. With the popularity of televisions, the CCP held the gala again in 1983, broadcasted by CCTV on the night of New Year's Eve. Since then, it has become a regular program on New Year's Eve every year. Many middle-aged and old-aged Chinese today have a fond memory of the 1987 Spring Festival Gala. Back then, the Cultural Revolution had just ended. In an attempt to survive the existential crisis inherited by the Mao era, the liberal wing of the CCP launched reform and opening up, loosening its strict control over the whole of society. It created an unprecedented spirit of innovation. As a result, the Spring Festival Gala saw the emergence of a large number of popular programs and performers that resonated with the times and the audience. At the time, a song by this Taiwanese singer was played in the streets of China. Young people danced in ballrooms, imitating the singer. Unfortunately, the dream of reform was shattered with the June 4th Tiananmen Square massacre in 1989, and the CCP's control over society was tightened once again. The Spring Gala has become an indispensable part of the annual celebration, a cultural event for many Chinese. The CCP sees such an opportunity to brainwash the public on all fronts. Since then, the Spring Gala has been a brainwashing tool while singing the CCP's praises. In recent years, no matter how fantastic the colors are or how attractive the celebrities are, the gala has devolved into a political show with ideological themes running through it. For example, you saw Xinjiang like this in the show. How can there be any human rights persecution when people are so happy and joyful?
What I want to show the audiences most is the charm of Kashgar. Of course, I'm also very happy that one of the sub-venues is set up Kashgar, as I can take the opportunity to go home and enjoy the festival atmosphere with my family. I hope the audiences can learn more about the city, including its food and scenic spots. We actually have invited a lot of non-professional performers to join the gala, and through their performances, we would like to show the happiness of local people in their daily life.
From the very beginning, the CCP has made no secret of the nature of the Spring Festival Gala, namely, it serves a political function, reflecting the policies of the party and the state and communicating them to the masses. That is, the overtone of the gala is set by the party. When necessary, the Spring Festival Gala takes on specific political tasks. For example, in the afternoon of the New Year Eve in 2001, Jiang Zemin, the former CCP leader, faked a case of self-immolation in Tiananmen Square to frame Falun Gong, a spiritual belief group. A few hours later, a hateful drama targeting Falun Gong was seen at the Spring Gala. Jiang Zemin's partner, Zhen Qinghong, met with the actors and instructed them to use the skit, a popular entertainment style, to attack Falun Gong. For this reason, some artists have refused to appear on the stage. As an example, in 2014, the media reported that a Chinese rock singer missed the chance to perform at the gala because he refused to change his song lyrics and submit to censorship. This singer performed nothing for the hunger-striking students in Tiananmen Square in 1989, a few days before the CCP's crackdown. Subsequently, this well-known rock singer was banned from giving concerts and his lyrics were censored by the party. But gradually, more and more Chinese people have come to see that not only was the spirituality and sentiments embedded in the New Year, which had lasted for thousands of years, destroyed by the CCP, as seen in the Spring Gala, but the content of the gala has become less relevant and further removed from the general public. Especially in the 3 years of the epidemic from 2020 to 2022, the extreme control of the COVID-0 policy, including the sudden surge of the epidemic before the New Year of 2023, didn't stop the CCP from calling off the gala. So the world saw a bizarre sight. Funeral parlors across the country had long lines of people waiting to cremate their deceased. Their wailing and cries were so loud but couldn't drown out the hustle and bustle of the CCTV studios. When the host of the gala said, "All homes are lit up, Happy New Year, let us enjoy the warmth of the family to revisit the joy of reunion," no one knew how many of the hundreds of millions of people in China lost their loved ones and family warmth simply vanished. During that time, a young man in the audience stole the show. Wearing gray, he scratched his head with a sigh. The image made it to the top of China's social media. In front of him, there was a young boy in a red sweater with a confused look. His mouth was slightly open, as if he wanted to ask the adults around what they were laughing at. A man in black was also seen in the audience with a serious expression throughout the gala. In that year, the boycott of the Spring Gala by the Chinese people rose to an all-time high.
The call for boycotting the Spring Festival Gala is getting louder and louder. Why is it so? It's because people who don't need money are greeting people who are struggling. People who have free Medicare are giving blessings of good health to those who have no Medicare. People who spend 600 to 700 yuan for breakfast are giving blessings of abundance to those who can't afford to eat if they stop working for one day. For the hundreds of millions of people who are watching the Spring Festival Gala, how does it make them feel? If you really want the gala to be a success, why don't you use this opportunity to answer questions for the assault case in Tangshan, school bullying, the disappearance of teenagers, and why there are still illegal evictions despite the land law being written in clear terms? Why aren't corrupt officials shot for embezzling hundreds of millions or billions of dollars? Why are there civil disputes when it's obvious fraud? Please answer the people's questions over the past year. This is what people want to see.
So what did people say about the 2024 Spring Gala? We checked Chinese social media. It seems for people with little social or political sensitivity, most of the comments were mediocre, nothing special, but many more viewers mocked the gala. For example, in a survey of the Spring Gala on the Jihu website, one person wrote, "The skit shows have finally stopped insulting men and creating marriage anxiety. Maybe they know it's useless to push them. There are fewer linguistic programs overall too. That's just about right. If you can't speak human language, don't speak at all." This response received more than 1,800 likes. Another person wrote, "The comedy and skits were straight up awkward, like picking one's toes in public. The songs were still the same old positive, grand, glorious ones, and the only thing that was more reminiscent of the legacy of the Spring Gala was Liu Qian. The flourishing performances on the stage didn't in the least reflect people's paycheck situation. The reality is it's getting worse every year in every aspect. How about let's just have some fun and not try to lecture people about it? Turn off the TV and go to sleep." A boring show went smoothly. People don't even bother to curse it. They went silent outright. As soon as it's 8 o'clock, the whole family goes to the sofa and turns on the TV where it's broadcasting the Spring Festival Gala, and then everyone plays on their cell phones. One netizen mimicked the tone of the national TV host's false narrative about China's economy and wrote, "The Spring Festival Gala is stable and growing, promising for the long term, overflowing with optimism and upward mobility." Someone else said that Chinese people watching the gala are fast becoming a minority. He wrote, "Still watching the Spring Gala in 2024? It's hard not to feel embarrassed." There were even those who directly stated their boycott stance. "Garbage show. I haven't watched it in over a decade. It pollutes the eyes with even one glance." What many viewers remember most about the show is when a Taiwanese magician faltered in his card trick. In the program, he interacted with the audience with his card tricks. At the last so-called miracle witnessing moment, many guests on stage matched the cards successfully and cheered. However, one of the gala hosts panicked when he saw the cards in his hand. His cards didn't match as the magician had hoped. The moment was captured by the camera. The Taiwanese magician is said to have vowed that he would never participate in the gala again. Inviting Taiwanese entertainers to the gala is one of the CCP's unification tactics. Overseas Chinese noticed that the 2024 gala featured soldiers wearing steel helmets, camouflage uniforms, and long guns on stage, singing military songs. New fighter jets, tanks, and submarines were seen on the screen, as well as beach landings and missile launches. According to the narration, in addition to the military artists, an armored corps of the Beijing garrison was also involved in the performance. The Spring Gala has featured the military every year, but most were performed by artistic troops in the past. Honor guards of the Army, Air Force and Navy, and the Aerospace Brigade also participated occasionally. There is no precedent for combat troops performing on stage. Bringing guns to the Spring Festival Gala has drawn attention from the outside world. Some netizens and overseas Chinese thought that this kind of imagery wasn't in line with the peaceful mood of the Chinese New Year, and indicated to people that there is going to be a war. One thing that viewers in China and overseas noticed was that the videos of overseas Chinese around the world sending New Year's greetings to their fellow Chinese were missing. It's a routine part of the gala, but it didn't happen this year. For example, on the Jihu website, someone mentioned, "I suddenly realized there were no congratulatory messages from overseas Chinese all over the world today. Did I miss it?" Many overseas Chinese took to social media to suggest that the omission was caused by British pianist Kavanaugh. Has the conflict between him and the British Little Pinks really been that big of a deal? Judging from the program rehearsed by Little Pinks in London at the time, it should have been prepared for the Spring Gala. As you can see, there were staff from the Chinese embassy in London, as well as a lawyer who was very close to the embassy. This lawyer has been regarded by the British intelligence service as an agent for the CCP. In the piano incident, they were all exposed. After the exposure, the audience realized that the CCP had spent so much effort and money to brainwash the whole world, using the Spring Festival Gala. And these people seem to have poor caliber. So, for these little pinks involved in the incident, they ended up in a bad situation. No one likes them. To the overseas Chinese, they are the ones singing the praises of the CCP and waving the CCP flag while enjoying the democracy. To Chinese in mainland China, they are the ones with British identity, but pretend to be Chinese. Why do we need such a group of people to greet us at the Spring Festival Gala? It's very likely that the CCP might cancel this part of the gala from now on. The CCP may also be reluctant to further expose to the world its overseas propagandists, including underground party members lurking overseas, which is tantamount to betraying them. The most raved about program by the official media for the 2024 Spring Gala was this one. It featured famous poets from the Tang Dynasty reciting poetry with a crowd of today.
创作理念就是让一个千年的一个诗人的一古人，通过他的视角穿越千年，来到当下，看到我们当下我们的西安，除了我们传统的文化，还有这么时尚、这么盛大的独有的特色。
They recited poems to the effect of, "The wine will go down, the cup will not stop," and "Born to be useful." One wonders how people in the midst of unemployment will feel about this. Will they be inspired or feel more hopeless? That's why some people on Facebook have described their feelings about the Spring Festival Gala in this way. I felt out of place as I watched the screen full of laughter and song, and I didn't envy their lifeless cheer. In fact, at a time when China's economy is in a downward spiral and the CCP is caught in multiple crises, it's difficult for CCP officials to be joyful from the bottom of their hearts. Look at this dinner party celebrating the New Year for the top echelon of the CCP, who has a genuine smile on their face.
祝大家身体健康，工作顺利，阖家幸福，龙年吉祥。